How many gas stations do y'all think are in America?
Enough to run across Tennessee.
I would have to know like how many cities are in a state on average, and then I would.
I've just been thinking about that.
Why?
Well, there's a lot more in America than there are in Costa Rica, I'll tell you that.
Really?
We was talking about Brooke wouldn't make it long down there.
Why?
Right, you'd run out of gas. There's about 3 gas stations in a 2-hour drive.
I don't run out of gas.
You ran out of gas while we were over there.
Baby, you run out of gas all the time.
No.
Look, I wanted to go ahead and just say something real quick. You are not, Biscuit, you are not authorized.
My friends.
Turn that crap off.
Oh, sorry.
You are not authorized to come in here and mess up our workflow. You got invited to come on the podcast, and that is an honor.
Well, then why did you rush me?
Nobody's rushed. We literally.
You said leave straight away when you get done.
Well, yeah, and you got here on time, right? But
Well, I will say I did hear him say, you can go ahead and head to the office right now if you want.
yeah.
I did hear him say
But
that.
not
Like insinuating that,
No,
that
no,
y'all
it
were
was-
ready
It
now.
was semi-leading.
Yes.
This is how we operate around here. We don't. You cannot hurry perfection.
You weren't late.
There is no such thing as being late here, unless it's to PT first thing in the morning, where we all have to start at the same time. But once we're done with that, everything else we do is a flow.
This is why I can't ever come on the podcast. Because you literally, all the time you invite me, you'll call me and you'll be like, babe, you want to come on the podcast? I'm like, sure, what time? Oh, we're about to start. That's always how it is. How is anyone ever supposed to participate that have jobs?
Listen, if you going to do stuff with Chad, you just set aside the day and you just
Follow him around.
hang out and
So true.
that's just...
On Wednesdays, we will do a podcast sometime between when we wake up
Between
and
8
lunchtime.
And that evening.
So I need to be at your beck and call sitting in this room from what time? You said 8 till when?
From the time, sometime between when we start PT and lunchtime, we will do a podcast.
I'm going to tell the listeners right now why you're Captain Poopy Pants. It's because we are the champions. And you lost today.
What did he do to his head there?
Oh, he keeps hitting his head on the bedside table when his alarm goes off.
Yeah. I've got a nightstand and beside my bed, and it's got sharp corners on it, and I put my alarm down there, you know, and sometimes I'll set it on the floor, and then when my alarm goes off, I'll fling myself over to grab my phone, and I crack my head on the side of the nightstand.
That's the first time I busted my head open was on a nightstand.
Yeah, I've done it 2 times in like the last 2 weeks.
You just gotta
Get you a pool
calm
noodle
down.
and cut it in half and stick it on the edge.
That's a good idea.
Well, welcome back to the 307 podcast. It's, you know, today we did the first version of the 3 of 7 Project Physical Standards Test, the PST. 3 of 7 Project PST. We really today were going out to establish what the standards were going to be for times and reps on the different exercises. And I had a good idea of what they needed to be based off of this PST here is really based off of the exit test that we had to take out of pre-buds to go to buds, SEAL training. It's a little different, but that's the foundation of it. So I can still remember what my times and numbers generally were when I tested out way back when. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, we are not up to the standard. We are not up to the standard on our own freaking physical standards test. And we've got work to do, son.
Does it make you feel better to say we?
Yeah.
None of us hit the standards on every.
Wait, I thought Chili did on the run. I thought
yeah,
the standard was 24. Didn't you do it in like 20?
Yeah, well, I'm
He's saying across the board.
across the board.
Oh, okay.
To be up to standard to pass the PST, you've got to pass every single thing.
Yeah, we all passed the run.
Yeah.
So let me explain this to you guys how this is going to work. And there's going to be, I'm putting this out to you guys because I want you to go and run this thing, and I want you to let us know where you're at on this PST. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, next year, the person who puts up the highest numbers on this 3 of 7 Project PST is going to get rewarded. I usually just spout stuff off.
I was just waiting on the person who wins is going to get $70,000.
I usually just spout stuff off, but I haven't discussed it with my coworkers here yet.
Dang, you're improving.
My team members.
Yeah, you're
So
training well.
we're going to come up with a way to reward you if you can hit these standards. And it's tough, man. It sounds really easy, but you go and do it. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, the swim is the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
What was the standard for the swim on time?
Okay, so here's the way that this 3 of 7 Project PST goes down. A 1,000 meter swim. It can be in a pool or in open water. You can use whatever stroke you want. Freestyle, combat swimmer side stroke, breaststroke, doesn't matter to me.
No
all right?
fins.
That's
No
my
fins.
question. Yeah.
That's right.
It's easier in a pool, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because you get a kick off the wall. So 1,000 meter swim, the standard for that is 20 minutes.
Oh.
20 minutes is the standard for that. All right. Once you're done with your swim, you get a 10-minute break. That time is not only to allow you to kind of recover, but also to give you time to transition into your running gear and dry clothes. So you get 10 minutes after the swim. Then you go into max push-ups. Max push-ups in 2 minutes. All right? The standard for push-ups is 80. 80 push-ups in 2 minutes. Then you go into max sit-ups in 2 minutes. Standard for sit-ups is 80. Then you go into pull-ups. You got 2 minutes to do as many pull-ups as you can. The standard for pull-ups is 20. Pull-ups can be kipping, but your chin has to go over the bar. So none of this butterfly crap. Your chin has to go over the bar, and once you mount the bar, you cannot drop off the bar. So you can stay on the bar for 2 straight minutes and do as many pull-ups as you can. But as soon as you dismount the bar, you're done. Even if you dismount at 1 minute, which is basically what I did.
Pull-up grip, not chin-up
Yeah,
grip.
and it's all overhand grip. All right?
And the push-up is...
So we'll talk through form. We talked a little bit about form on the swim. It can be any stroke. All right, on the push-up, if you have a partner there, have your partner put their fist under your chest. Okay? You come down, your chest has to touch their fist, and then you come back up with a fully locked out arms. That's 1 rep. On sit-ups, you have to have both hands on your shoulders, have your partner hold your feet, and when you sit up, your elbows have to touch the top of your knees.
Shoulder blades on the ground.
Yeah, and when you go back, shoulder blades are all the way flat on the ground. That's a sit-up. Pull-up is overhand grip, chin over the bar. The run is a 3-mile timed run. Standard for the run is 24 minutes. All right, it can be on a track. You can track it with your GPS. We ran ours on a track this morning. But 24 minutes is the standard for that. So 1,000 meter swim, 20 minutes. Max push-ups in 2 minutes, standard is 80. Max sit-ups in 2 minutes, standard is 80. Max pull-ups in 2 minutes, standard is 20. 3 mile timed run, standard is 24 minutes. That's the 3 of 7 project physical standards test. We took it this morning. Here's my times, because I know all you guys want to know how we did. So I'll give my times, and then you guys can give your times. The swim. My swim time was 19:08.
Debatable.
Biscuit will dispute that. I will tell you, that's a lot of laps to keep up with. Yeah. I don't know if I miscounted my laps or not. So I will suggest that when you go and do your swim, if you're in a 25-yard pool, essentially that'll be 22 laps. I suggest you take something. This is what I'm going to do next time. I'm going to take a cup or a something with 22 pennies in it.
You could just get a clicker.
Or if you have a clicker, that's great, whatever.
That's a good idea.
And every lap, I'm going to take either my clicker or I'm going to take a penny out of that bucket. All right? Because that is a lot of laps to keep up with for somebody with my mathematical abilities.
Where are you going to put a bucket with pennies in the pool?
You put it on the pool deck, right there at the where you're you know where the little stand thing
but that'll
is?
Still take a minute.
You just tie
you're going to
string.
lose some time. But for me personally, when I'm doing that, for me personally, I don't have a system to keep up with that many laps. So my swim time was 19:08. Push-ups 59. Freaking unsat, man. Totally unsat. I'm really disappointed in that. Sit-ups, 67. Totally just freaking terrible. How the crap, man? Pull-ups, 23. Okay, I met the standard, but so what, man? When I tested out to go to Bud's, I did like 28 or 29 dead hang. I've got to work on this, man. Run, of course, 20.09. So 20 minutes and 9 seconds was my 3 mile run time. Is what it is, man. It's what we do is run. The problem is that we run too much. And so this is why our push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups are about that of the strength of a freaking 8th grader.
I'm just wondering why you keep saying we. Like, aren't you talking about yourself right now?
Well, it makes them feel better.
It's us. It's all of us.
It's all of us, man. How many freaking pull-ups did you do?
0.
Yeah, that's unsat, man. This is why we're doing this. We're going to run this. We are going to run this physical standards test once a month until we're all able to at least meet the standard. Chili, how'd you do?
Well, I don't remember. I didn't keep track of hardly any of it. I'm going off
Chili doesn't
memory
even know
here.
how far he swam.
Yeah, I have no idea how far I swam. I stopped at 29 minutes, which, well, that's rough. But I think I'm surely covered the 22 laps.
Yeah,
I mean, I lost count, but I think surely I covered it in that. So we'll say 29:10. What's next? Push-ups. Well, first of all, let me just say this. Push-ups are a useless exercise. I mean, it's just about useless.
We're just giving results, Chili.
Okay.
Comes to say somebody that's never been in a freaking firefight before.
You can use your legs, man.
Okay, we'll actually try that today.
We need to test that.
We'll
Do you know what
tie your hands behind your back and let you get in that position.
No, you got to use your hands too. You not know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You can compensate.
How many did you get
40. You were counting 41, 40?
for push-ups?
Yeah.
Brooke did that.
Oh, yeah, that was right. 41.
Okay.
That was it.
Sit-ups you counted that, was 60.
60. Was 67?
That's not bad, Chili.
No, low 60s, 62 we'll say. I don't know. Pull-ups,
Let me write this down.
11.
Yeah, you got 11.
Yeah, that was rough. That was bad. Them push-ups took it out of me. And then the run, yeah, I passed the run.
I think the run you were You are close to lapping me on that run. So I'm going to say you were in the 18 and a half.
Hey, he did lap you, didn't he?
No, he didn't. He never lapped me.
Called him.
But I'm say you were probably in the 18 and a half, somewhere around there on the run, because I was 20:09. So, of course, next time we will keep up with our times better, because this is just freaking unsat, man. What'd you get, Blake?
I did the swim in 22. I did 87 sit-ups.
Good job.
And 72 push-ups and 25 pull-ups and like 22:30 on the run, I think.
Good job.
Hey.
Blake's
Fit.
really impressed me, because he's usually the weakest.
Oh.
And
Because all we ever do is run.
Dude, that's overall the best
Yeah.
performance.
oh yeah,
It is.
yeah. He got overall best performance today, without
For
a doubt.
sure.
I mean,
One on push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, and was right behind you in swim. I mean, not right behind you, but
No.
and then close in the run. So
well, we're gonna fix that swim thing. What'd you get, Biscuit?
I wrote down your times, Chili, for next
Okay.
time. The run, I got 22:49. The swim, I got 20:01. But let me tell y'all what happened on the swim. I lapped Chad twice in the pool. And we came up at a wall, and he popped up and he said, "Where are you at?" I said, "I don't know." And he said, "I'm on 8." So I counted from there going on. And I lapped him twice, and he got out of the pool over a minute before me. So, obviously somebody was wrong.
I don't think you lapped me twice.
Baby, I 100% lapped you twice, because both times I got pummeled by you and Chili. It was a big deal. It wasn't just like an easy thing.
Yeah, so I mean, somebody miscounted. I mean, either you went over on laps or I went under on laps. I don't know which one it is. I cannot definitively say. I'll go. Okay, just to put it to rest, I'll take ownership of that. I take ownership of that.
You don't need to take ownership. I just need to hear you say that I beat you.
No, I don't think, because you can't say that, because here's the thing. When you asked me, or when I asked you what lap you're on, you had no freaking clue what lap you were on.
But we started in the same point, and I lapped you twice, so I beat you.
No. Well, look, when we take this next month, we will fix this daggone swim lap
Wait,
problem.
can you guys, physics-wise, like if we're swimming in the same lane and I
no.
passed Chad twice,
no.
does that not mean that I beat him?
Without a doubt, you beat me.
Okay.
What I'm saying is the
Okay.
time, because neither one of us kept proper count of our laps. So the time is irrelevant. Yes, you beat me.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
At whatever point we hit 1,000 meters, you beat me.
That's all I wanted, Boo Boo. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
I knew you were going to beat me in the swim.
Thank you. You're being so humble today. I just appreciate this humility that you're exuding for everybody.
Well, I'm freaking pissed off.
well, yeah, we didn't do very well.
Oh wait, I'm not done. And then on the sit-ups, I got 53, and the push-ups on my knees, I got 31, and I didn't do any pull-ups. Because in the gym, I modify pull-ups with a band, and I can't do like 2 regular ones right now.
You got to work on that.
Yeah. But we had this conversation this morning. Women just aren't as good at that movement. Like men aren't as good as lunges.
Ask Sarah Duro how good she is at pull-ups.
She's tiny.
Well,
She's like
but you
5
gotta
foot.
look at the work she put in to get there versus the work that a male
Yeah,
put in to
but
get to.
you guys go ahead. If you want to argue with me, give me who's good at gymnastic movements. Small, muscular, short people. I'm almost 6 foot, and I have the longest gangly arms and legs, and I weigh like 165 pounds. I'm never going to be as good at pull-ups.
I think pull-ups will be probably one of your weak exercises, but that does not mean you can't hit the standard for this PST. You need to, like me, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'm going to work on my push-ups every day between now and when we do this thing again. And if you, that's what it's going to take for you to hit the standard on pull-ups for the PST. You're going to have to work on pull-ups every single day intentionally, and you will get there. It's possible. So, good job, baby.
You too, guys. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like waking up that early and having those kids smoke all of us. Like I
Good
enjoyed it.
swimmers.
Oh, yeah.
They were.
Had a ball.
Did you? Oh, y'all chilly. You know.
Look at this guy. He reminds me of my freaking 90-year-old
Hold
bus
on.
driver.
Wait. When you people with a pool, I'm getting this from Joey. When you open your skimmer for the first time in a long while, and there's that frog that's like bloated, and its legs have sunk under the water, but the top of its body is still on the top of the water. That's what Chili looked like the whole time you did the swim.
Well, I gotta get over this frog kick because,
Well, there's
I'm thinking too. First of all, that ain't how you're supposed to swim, and second of all, when I get out, it feels like my knees have been beat with baseball bats. So, I feel weird running because, I'm kicking them out like that. So, I got to figure out some new swim stroke.
well, there's no sense in doing this PST again until we
Learn how to swim.
learn how. It's pointless. Like
No,
we're not going to do any better if you don't know. Swimming is a technique. It's not a fitness.
I tell you what,
That's why we're doing swim lessons in 2 weeks. We're starting swim lessons in 2 weeks.
Why wouldn't y'all let
Have
me
you
teach
talked
you?
to Spencer about that?
Yeah, I talked to him today about it.
Well,
He said 2 weeks.
No.
He said
he-
he's busy for the next 2 weeks. But
Yes,
after that, he's
that's
going to
the
have
truth.
time.
now I
He's
tell you what,
busy.
something about that irritated me too. So I'm gonna swim at home.
Where are you gonna swim?
He's got a pool.
Is it heated?
Yeah,
Whoa!
not at my house.
Oh.
One I can go to.
I was about to say, dang.
But
Chili.
you got to have someone show
All
you the right.
in.
Just,
That's what I'm saying. Between now and then, I just go be reinforcing bad techniques. But once we start working
Yeah.
with him and I can get something to work on, then I got a pool to practice in.
Hey, I can teach y'all next week, and then Spencer can follow up. I taught you how to swim, and you became a Navy SEAL.
I don't like working with you, though. You work at a different pace than we do.
Efficient, that pace.
Oh, yeah, you're real efficient. Oh, yeah, you are real efficient.
I got to get better at all of it. Running too.
Yeah, I mean,
run, dude. Our run was weak.
You're crazy.
Our run was weak.
What is that? What is that pace? 3 miles and 18 minutes. Good
6 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
just terrible.
well,
Yeah,
that's
but-
what most people will think about the running. They'll say, or even the pull-ups, push-ups, and sit-ups. They say, well, what the freaking crap, man, 24 minutes for a 3-mile run? That's not bad. Well, the swim, I'm telling you, that's what gets you.
Your legs.
Yeah, your legs, your lats, everything. Especially when you don't swim efficiently, it just wears your muscles out.
And with it being so darn cold, I don't run good when it's cold. I mean, I don't run good really anyway.
That was a lung burner.
Especially when it's cold,
Yeah.
I don't run good.
Yeah, that was a lung burner for sure.
I'm more like your carbureted model, and they just don't run as good in the cold. Y'all have that fuel injection that compensates for it.
I tell you what, next time we run this, I'm gonna run the 5K in under. Well, it ain't a 5, it's 3 miles. Well, I'm gonna run 5:30 pace, whatever that is for 3 miles. 16:30.
16:30,
Yep.
that's good.
Yep, that's what I'm running next time we do this.
Easy, Chili.
No, I gotta get
was
back. I
all-
gotta get back close to where I was before on the running.
He was all sorts of disoriented after we got in there. He sat in his car for a minute, and he got out and he said, "I've lost my phone." And he was
did.
freaking out, and he went inside. He was in
Wasn't
there
freaking out,
for
but-
about 5 minutes, and he come out and
In
he
the
said,
pool area?
He said, I didn't find my phone, but I found my hat. I didn't even know I lost my hat, but I found it. And he said, oh, well, I can't find my phone. I'll just buy another one, I guess. And he gets in his car and leaves
What the crap?
and calls me. He found it. It was under his seat. He put it under his seat.
I don't put it under my seat. I don't know. I got there.
So what do you guys think about this as a physical standards test? What do you guys think of? I mean, genuinely, not as a Not as a runner, not as I'm just talking about an overall good gauge of where you are with strength and endurance. What do you guys think about it?
I mean,
This is a question for the listeners too. Let us know.
I think it's good. The swimming, I think, is all technique. Like, if you have the fitness to move in the pool for 20 minutes, but you don't cover 1,000 meters, your fitness is fine. The problem is that your technique is not good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think swimming's a valuable skill to learn. I mean, it can be life-saving. So I think that's a skill technique, as would be shooting. I think swimming would be no different than shooting. It's testing a skill and a technique, not a fit. To an extent, it's testing a fitness, but when you put a time limit on that, then that's what I think about that. But the other stuff is, I mean, I think it's good. It's body weight stuff, so it's not. I think it's testing more muscular endurance than it is strength, body weight stuff. But I mean, that's the kind of fitness I would rather have. Is what we did. I think it's a good gauge because that's what I would rather have. If you said you got to squat 250 pounds, then it's like, I mean, I don't want to do that.
Well, and I like it too as a PST that we can all take and engage. And you guys listening, I want this to be a gauge of the community, the Body of 3-7 project. It doesn't require equipment. Mm-hmm. You just have to find a local pool, or in the summertime or when it's feasible, you just go out to a lake or something and you can do all this.
You need a pull-up bar.
Right there. You can use a tree limb.
Rafters on the...
Yeah, you don't have to have all this equipment and stuff. So I do like that about it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chili?
Well, I mean, legitimately, I think y'all keep laughing at me. I mean, I don't see push-ups as useful as pull-ups, but
what?
I think pull-ups are more useful than push-ups.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what I just said.
No,
That's what I
what you
mean.
said.
Pull-ups as useful as pull-ups, I think.
Yeah, well, whatever. Pull-ups are better exercise. And there's no leg component. Like, there's nothing like leg strength or.
Well, doesn't running require good leg muscles?
I agree with that's what I was gonna say too, though. Chili.
Apparently, swimming does too. The way it put a hurting on Chili's knees.
I mean, I've seen some people with not strong legs be good runners. Like, it's a different. I mean, but like he just said, he don't really want there to be like a max squat in it,
Yeah.
But I mean, that would be a new element of it.
Max body weight squat.
Well, yeah, you could do that. Like, do as many
What? Why are you rolling your eyes?
in 2 minutes?
do as many air squats.
yeah.
In 2
I think that
minutes?
would be a great addition.
Whew, boy.
I mean,
We might could add that in.
I mean, it adds a new element that I think you're lacking.
Mm-hmm.
And like swim,
Mostly upper body. Swim is.
well, swimming it's inferior to running in every way, but we can keep it in.
You tell Spencer that during your lesson in 2 weeks.
We need
I'll
to
tell
get
him.
to where we can meet those standards with with our vest on.
Oh, that was my question. That was the only other question I had.
Except swimming.
Well, what? Like, those numbers are like arbitrary.
He got those from...
They're not like arbitrary. They're totally arbitrary. I mean, who decides that you need to do 20 pull-ups and not 30? Who decides you need to do 80 push-ups and not...
I think that's
60
NSW, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, those were right close to the standards that we were required to meet in order to go and participate in the hardest military training in the world. So somebody that's way smarter than us determined those numbers as a baseline of what your ability needed to be, or what your capability needed to be in order to go and participate in this training.
Well, it's interesting because I think, like, you're going to say I can't do this, and technically you're right, but I can take myself outside of a runner's perspective, as much to the extent that I can. I think the run is relatively weak compared to, like, the swim and the... Well, I don't know. The swim's not very hard. I just suck. But I think, like, the push-ups are pretty difficult. 80 with good form in 2 minutes is pretty stout.
Yeah, that's it's something to really you have to work for it.
Yeah. But I mean, I think like the sit-ups could be achieved easier than that, and like it's not weighted. They're not weighted all equally.
I agree.
Yeah, when I took this testing out of pre-buds, I think I was in the hundreds on my sit-ups.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just I think it could be tinkered with, but if you don't really care for it to be perfect, I think it's pretty good.
I do like the idea of at some point adding the max air squats
In 2 minutes.
in 2 minutes.
That'd be
I
cool.
like that. Listeners, y'all let us know what you think. We're not adding anything that requires special equipment though.
Yeah. Yes, because you don't want like an element to it that is your max power output or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, because they all are endurance exercises. I mean, every single one, swimming, running, and then the way you do the push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups is kind of drawn out,
But that's how, I mean, if you're going to be
sub-maximal loads because it's just your body weight.
if you're going to be just generally fit, this measures the general fitness. Because if you need to pick up something really heavy one time, then you get more than one people or use some kind of mechanical advantage.
No, we don't need to be generally fit. We need to be super athletes.
Well, then you just up the scale on
Yeah.
what it is you want to do.
Do 120 push-ups
Or like
and
put a
150
vest on,
sit-ups.
like Blake said. Just
Yeah.
start adding weight to your vest.
That'd be the way to train for it. Just
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. A lot, and I think you're going to be surprised, Chili. We obviously think the run is weak in comparison to some of the other standards that we really missed in a big way. And the run was easy for us. But I think you're going to be surprised when the listeners go and run this physical standards test. You're going to be surprised at how many people aren't able to hit the standard on the run.
That's tough.
Yeah, I mean, because swimmers are usually terrible runners, right? So
Well, they're fit. I mean,
what I love about it is it's so dynamic. There's so many. There are these four aspects, or 5 aspects of it. How many? Swim, push up, pull up, sit up, run. 5 aspects of it. So you're going to be deficient in one of those or 2 of those, or like me today, 3 or 4 of those. And so it's going to give you things to focus on in order to become more well-rounded. And the swim, people can argue the swim all they want. That's the first thing somebody said when we talked about putting this test out is, well, you need to give people an option to sub the swim out because they may not have access to a pool. And you cannot substitute a swim with anything. Nothing compares to the way a hard swim will fatigue you. And the fact of the matter is, like Blake pointed out earlier, swimming is a very, very important skill, being a strong swimmer. 71% of the earth is made of water. You should be able to swim because it's part of our environment, and you should be able to swim well.
Yeah.
It's a life-saving skill, not only your life, but you could save other people's lives if you are strong and comfortable and competent in the water.
I think someone who just swims would be much better at running than someone who just runs and tried to go swim.
You're probably right.
We're proof of that.
Because of the technique, like Blake said.
Yeah.
What do you think about it, Boo-Boo?
I really like it. I was thinking the same thing Chili said, like adding some kind of lower body, like endurance type. I like the max air squats in 2 minutes. And then I told you this morning, I'm not ever for separating male and female. Like when we do stuff at CrossFit, I always do the male calories. But there are a few things that you guys just have an upper hand on because the way your body is shaped. You have big, broad shoulders, big back muscles, large chest muscles. So things like pull-ups come a lot easier to men. So I kind of got some beef with the pull-up standards being so high and that there's no alternative for women. And I personally don't know any women who could do 80. Is it 80? 20. Without dropping? I mean, I'm not going to name any names, but all the girls I know at the gym, they have to come down every 3 or 4.
Well, they're going to have to freaking work on it.
Well, you asked for my opinion, and I'm telling you, I think there should be some kind of modification for the pull-ups.
Ain't happening. You know the answer to your lack of ability to do pull-ups? Grow stronger.
Coming from the guy who won't do snatches and a lot of movements at CrossFit because they're not good for his body.
I'll say that
Interesting.
The standard was made for men, right? Only men can be SEALs, so the standard was made.
Not nowadays.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Women can be in there now?
Yeah, I don't think one of them's made it through it yet.
Huh. But I will say the standard is the standard. Like if you reduce it, then there is a substandard that is not the standard.
Yeah, it ain't
anymore.
Happening. Ain't happening.
So, but I do agree. For you to get to 20 pull-ups, it's going to take 2 or 3 times the amount of work it would take.
I'm going to look like a
get
dude. Like, I don't want that big lats and broad shoulders.
You
and
might say, "Hey, Biscuit,
Yeah.
you want to go get some lunch? You want to go get some
He'll
lunch?"
wish he hadn't have said that when all my boobs are gone and my back's all puffed up like this and I walk around like this.
You won't.
I met the standard.
You
Like
won't
Tarzan?
have to be that
What?
way.
Look like Tarzan.
Yeah, for real.
Well, no, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I also agree that you don't need to lower the standard. I mean, you can't lower the standard, but I mean, obviously, I see where you're coming from. Like, women and men are different.
Yeah.
So,
Like, if you put lunges in there, women would crush you. Like max lunges, jump lunges or something. Because men just typically don't have really well-developed glutes, you know? Like, it's just...
yeah, I mean, I don't think you should lower the standard, but yeah, I mean, women and men are going to be different. And, like, you're talking about this is for general fitness. I mean, you could argue the general fitness standards for men and women should be different. Like, you do different things. You do, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe the women's standard has lunges.
Well,
No, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you.
I mean,
we are contemplating bringing a female team member on here at 307 Project, and I guarantee you, the female team member that we're talking about bringing on can meet this can meet these standards. Guarantee you, she can.
I don't think so. I don't think 20 without dropping
see.
off.
I guarantee.
well,
you
I
she
think, I
can.
mean, that'd be awesome. But I mean, I don't think, you know, that's like the top.
Well,
And
even
that's exceptional. You
different
know? Like,
body type, even different men. There's some men that can't do pull-ups, and some men that can, and so it just takes different amount of work for different people to achieve different standards.
Look, man, the standard is the dang standard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Why is this important, anyways? Why are we even doing this?
Because your thing is skewed to men and men's strengths, and that's all I'm saying. If you add in the air squats, you're kind of leveling it out a little bit, but you're
One
still...
of the 5 things.
Push-ups and pull-ups, men are
Okay.
generally better at them than women.
Well,
And then anything that includes glutes or lower body, women tend to perform more.
I think what you're saying is if you're going to hold the women team members to the same standard, that this is skewed towards men, so it's a little unfair. That's what you're saying.
I don't think women overall will be as successful at meeting the standard. This is what I'm saying.
Well-
I know some women who could do it, like Sarah. She would probably crush it.
you must not.
But she's 4 foot what and like just
I have
teeny.
more faith in women than you do.
I think I'm realistic and you're stubborn and you're also mean today because you lost. So the combination of those things.
Lost. None of us won.
I mean, I won on
Nobody
the
won.
swim. I mean, the high schoolers beat us, but
No, we weren't winners today.
I mean, you guys are just negative. I feel like I won. I pushed myself. I got a really good workout. I'm proud. You guys are just negative. Blake didn't
I'm
talk
not.
crap. Yeah.
I'm not negative. I mean, I didn't meet the standard, but
Nothing to be
I
down
will,
about, right?
Well, the
yeah,
standards.
I'll get there.
You know what we could have done? We could have set the standards at a level we knew we could have hit, and we could have just rolled with that and been like, yeah, man, we hit the standard.
You just had to cut them in half for me to hit
Blakely
them.
did it with us. She made them too.
But I'm going to go ahead and tell you That ain't the way we freaking roll, son.
Like this-
We hold ourselves accountable just like we expect you to hold yourself accountable. And we set these standards this morning before we ran this thing, not knowing if we could achieve them or not, but that is what we determined was acceptable as far as standards go. We set them, we went and did it, and we didn't freaking meet them. So I'm just telling you, if you are setting standards for yourself, your business, your family, your team, don't try to just set the standard at a level that you know for a fact that you can achieve, because that's a bunch of freaking bull crap, man. Deal with it and get better. That's what we've got to do.
That's a great piece of advice for people that are setting the standards, but that's what I can't articulate nothing because I'm a freaking goofball. But I don't, when their standards were arbitrarily set, I didn't care as bad. I like the push-ups. If I think they're stupid, I'm not going to care as bad as like the run. I met that standard, but I wasn't happy with my run because it was slow. But I met the standard. When I didn't meet the standard on the push-ups, but I'm like, I did 40 of them. That's enough. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It seems like.
Well, that's why it's up to me to set the freaking standard.
Well, you
dude.
didn't set them.
Boom.
I put the standard out in the morning on the pool deck to the whole freaking group there.
Well, you changed it 14 times.
He did?
Oh, the run's 26 minutes, and then now it's 24. Now it's 28. I meant 24.
Well, it's 24.
He did do that.
The push-ups
That's
are.
just because I can't friggin' remember anything.
Then he looks back at Blake. What's the push-ups again?
I should have wrote all this down before
I saw your notepad. I figured you did.
No, that was, I had some other notes on there, but I have it in my phone now. So, anyways, that's your advice.
I set my standard.
That's your advice from the old bull today.
It's called,
I like
It's
that.
called the chili. 10 pull-ups, a 50K, 10 pull-ups.
No.
That's
There was
my-
a but
Time,
one
just
standard
for
here,
time.
Chili.
Just for time.
That's my standard.
That's called the chili.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I'm serious about this crap.
Well, what's our plan to get better at it?
Well, obviously, we're going to have to work on our weaknesses as individually throughout the week. But
Yeah.
we're going to do these daggone swim lessons, and I'm going to pay for them. So that's going to be part of our professional development is these swim lessons. I'm going to put them on the schedule. We're going to do them. And as far as the other things, the push-ups and sit-ups and pull-ups, we can work on those throughout the week. I'm going to work on them every day.
Well, yeah, we're going to have to.
Yeah. And at the end of next month, as long as we can get us a swim lesson or two in between now and then, the end of next month, we're taking this thing again.
Dun, dun, dun.
You see that face?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, after just 2 swim lessons, 20 minutes.
I think you're going to be surprised. I think with a few little minor changes and critiques, I think you're going to be surprised at how much more efficiently you can move through the
That's
water.
insane to even say that. I have to change my whole stroke.
Well, yeah, but you're not like, you don't have a fear of the pool to overcome, so you just essentially need to learn how to move your hands and feet. And as soon as he teaches you that and you practice it, I think
that's easier said than done, but we'll give
to
it a shot.
me, I think the hardest thing will be figuring out
You
your
might find
breathing
yourself
when
without a
got
job, son.
You got 1 month to meet that standard or you're fired,
Good
Chili.
gosh, I got a month? I need like 3.
Oh, is that going to be a thing? To work for 307, you have to maintain this
Yeah.
or you get fired?
Well, good Lord, none of us have it right now.
What happens if you end up in a wheelchair?
None of us have a job right
You going to
now.
fire me? Heck, you're going to be fired too.
This was the preliminary.
Yeah.
All right.
The preliminary.
The next one is the real deal.
We've got much
There's a lot
more.
on the line on the next one.
Yeah.
We've got much more to figure out than just our fitness, even just how to keep track of our own mess. Me and Chili didn't time our runs. Nobody had good way to time their laps or count their laps in the pool.
Good Lord, he's over there talking about firing us. None of us hit it. Oh, you got to meet this to work here. We didn't hit it, but you got to hit it.
That's a typical business, though. That would be very normal.
No.
What'd you have to say, Boo Boo? By the way, I don't know how loud I'm talking on this thing because I can't hear anything.
Yeah, he had a friggin', what'd y'all call it? A prima donna breakdown right before we started this podcast.
Yeah, if you're
'Cause-
watching, you can see the.
Oh, yeah.
They've poured everything in the kitchen cabinet down my ear.
He's got
You
a-
got any Drano in there?
He's got a little bit of water in his ear, and it's just the end of the world.
Is there anything on your heart, Biscuit? You don't come on the podcast much. I didn't know if something was on your heart.
I mean, are we transitioning? Like, I haven't been on in so long. Is this what we do? Like, y'all talk about the day and then you transition to a subject?
Well, I didn't know if you had anything for the listeners.
You're gonna make Chad mad if you put structure to this podcast. You just gotta go with the. Don't put
my
structure
bad.
to it.
Okay, sorry.
If I ask you a question, you just need to answer it.
I've been thinking a lot about the body, like the mind, body, soul, spirit. I've been thinking a lot about, which me and you talk about it a lot, like how to help people around me who are not taking care of their body without seeming condescending and without like putting myself up on a pedestal. Like, I'm doing such a good job at working out and eating, and you're unhealthy, and like, does that make sense? Like, I'm trying to lately find a way to influence the people around me that I love to take better care of themselves without them putting up a wall to me because they think I'm like some crazy healthy nut who just wants to push everything on them.
You talking about Blake?
No, Blake's healthy. Stop. No. Hey, he met more standards than anybody.
You see this old dad gut here?
That's, you know why? He got freaking dad strength, dude.
He got dad
Oh,
strength.
He got 2 kids.
Yep.
We ain't got that.
We
That's
don't
a
gotta tote
big
him
deal.
around.
That's a big deal. Dad strength's real.
I've heard your testosterone goes down a little bit when you have
No, I don't
kids.
care about that. Whatever that says. Hey, you get stronger when you're a dad. I've seen it.
I mean, it's obvious. He proved it.
Hey,
So how are you working on getting to a place where you can build people up that, or at least treat people properly that are just fat and nasty?
Baby.
well, let me tell you let me give you a little.
Well,
bit of my
you
advice.
feel this too. I mean, I know
Yeah.
you're in the
Oh
same
yeah,
boat.
this is we all feel this. I think everybody sitting in this room has loved ones that choose not to take care of themselves. They have the resources. They're not dumb.
They have the time.
They have the time. They have everything. They have everything they need to take care of themselves, and they choose not to.
and they choose to survive off of medication.
And it seems like there is absolutely nothing that you can say to convince them otherwise. So I think we can all feel this.
What were you going to say, Blake?
Well, I was just gonna say I don't think that going at it directly, like that's the turn off to people when you say, hey, you need to get in shape or you need to start eating right, and you're not gonna win it that way. But I mean, I think sometimes just saying, like, they know you like to eat healthy and hike and run, and say, hey, you want to come out and spend the day and go hike with me? And then it's not like you're trying to, it's not like you're pushing that on them. It's just like, that's just what I like to do. And do you want to come spend time with me today? This is what I'll be doing. And I mean, that's just a tactic I can think of to get people out doing things. But some people, this is not the case, but some people it is. That some people are just lazy, right? They're fine. They just are not going to get out and do something. But I think a lot of times when people's body starts to go downhill because they're not doing things, but it's because they're deficient in other areas. Like they're just exhausted doing this. So it's like certain other needs in people's lives have to be met before they're going to get out and exercise. It's just how it is. Like, I mean, I can even say that for Kat. The past 2 years, Josie has maybe slept 10 nights all night. So she's deficient in sleep. She's exhausted because she's spending time with him every day. But over the past month, she's like caught a second wind or had this change, some shift, and she's like, now she's starting to feel good and she wants to get out and exercise. So I can see where if you're deficient in other areas, whether it's physical, any of the 3 areas of your body, I think the body is your physical body is going to be the one that is going to be the last to get caught up, because the other two, it definitely your mind, your soul is, I think, number one. Like, that's got to be right in order for you to feel like building your spiritual side or your body. But I think the body is, I don't know, I guess it could be argued either way, but the body is going to be second or third to get built up before the other needs are met, because you can exist without exercising. So when you put it on a priority, you don't, I mean, look at the people that are living. To just exist, you don't have to exercise. You can live off I mean, we just said, we all know people that are living off medication, and so they don't have to do it to live.
Yeah.
So if you're deficient in another area, that's what's going to be on your mind and what you're focused on, and you're not going to be thinking about that. But so I would say maybe that's the first thing to look at, if whoever you're trying to help, is is there another area that they're struggling in, that if they can overcome that or get to a reasonable place, then maybe they will be interested in exercising. Or
I think you're dead
whatever.
on. I think a lot of people I think they all go together. And like for the people in my life, what you're saying is true. They have past emotional traumas and issues and problems with their upbringing that have caused this stress. And so they emotionally eat. They eat terrible food, which causes inflammation. It causes fat. It causes fatigue. It causes headaches. It causes them to get on medications that make them feel like crap. And then when you get to that point, why in the world do you feel like exercising?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I totally see where you're saying that could come from not having a good spiritual or a good emotional well-being. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's easy. I know what Chad's over there thinking. You just need to freaking get out there and work out. And
I was going to say
it's easy for people to say that who have never either experienced it or saw somebody experience it. But again, the caveat I gave in the beginning was that there are people that are good spiritually, they're good mentally, and they are just lazy. They're just not going to put the effort into it. And to help those people, I don't know. I don't have any advice for that, but I would just, what I said is the only tip I would have for people. But on Austin Powers, the I don't know how to say
Spit
his
it
name.
out.
The fat bastard.
Fat bastard.
He says
that's his name.
He says on there, I eat because I'm unhappy, and I'm unhappy because I eat.
Yep.
And that's true for a lot of people.
It's so true. It's a vicious
or for
cycle.
some people, not a lot, but some.
Well,
Let's hear what you got to say.
He's been
I know
bubbling
what you're-
over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see him sitting back,
Yep.
rolling his eyes.
Yep.
look, man, it's so hard to. Joey just sent us Team PT standards in a Google document.
Son.
It's so hard to really dissect how the body, soul, and spirit affect each other, and they're so intertwined. The body, soul, and spirit is a representation of the Trinity of God the Father, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus. We can't wrap our minds around how one person can be three. It's mind-boggling, but we have the perfect example of it in ourselves, body, soul, and spirit. We can't wrap our minds around how those three things are one. They make one person. So, I can make a great argument by saying these people that have emotional problems, whereas you guys are saying, well, their emotional problems are causing them to not feel like exercising. Well, I can come back and say, well, the reason they can't overcome their emotional problems is because they're not exercising.
Yeah, but they're not going to see the need for exercising because they're looking at the problem that is at hand. They're not seeing that if I go exercise, that helps. They're thinking, gosh, I'm already freaking tired and stressed out. Why do I want to go do that more to my body? So to get them to understand that physical exercise also helps
mental.
Your mental.
or exactly. That's the reality of it. And it ties the same to. It's all tied together. If you're having trouble seeing or connecting with the spirit that you are, and connecting with God and understanding and praying and all this stuff, well, that is also affected by your lack of physical exercise and also your lack of emotional and mental care. It's all so intertwined. Now, to get somebody to see that, if they can't see it, that's not my freaking... I don't know how to get you to see it other than to tell you that's the reality of how it works. If you're sitting here telling me you're fat because you're depressed, well, maybe you're depressed and you might not ever overcome that depression if you don't get unfat. All right? You know, that's just how it is. So, you know, the answer to me is in the morning when you get up, even if you have to get up earlier, do your dang PT, man. I don't care if you don't feel like it. I don't give a crap. Do it.
Well, that's normal to not feel like it. That's
you're
normal for
not
us.
going to feel like it.
Yeah, that's very normal.
There's some people that are going to respond to what you just said, and they're going to say, you know what? He's right. I haven't been feeling good, and I need to get out and do this. But there's some people that are going to say, that's just bullcrap. I'm not doing that. And so people respond to different things differently, and I think that's what you're asking is these people in my life that I see that need help, I am directly telling them this, and they're not responding. So in what other ways can I present things to get them to that point?
And like you're saying, I totally believe everybody's different, because to what you guys were just discussing, when I first got sober, I had none of what we're talking about. Like, my soul was crushed, my spirit was crushed, my body was destroyed. And so the one I started with was body, just because I decided to do that. And like, I knew I was on a mission to repair all of them, but that just happened to be the one that was convenient for me to start with. But like, I can see a lot of people where diet would need to be the first, or getting your spiritual life and your emotional life and your relationships in order. Like, I mean, it just depends on people's situation and what they value, you know? But I remember running that first 2 miles with you and like how bad it hurt. And I kept thinking like, I don't ever want to do this again.
Yeah.
Like, this is terrible. And I kept saying like, no, I knew from what you had told me and from the example you had set that it was going to make me better. I just had to keep doing it, you know? But
yeah,
I mean, I can totally think of a few people specifically in my life that 100%, I know I'm reiterating, but like, if they don't fix themselves mentally, emotionally, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important to really drive home the fact to people listening to this, that if you wait until you feel like getting out and fixing your fat body or your unhealthy body, you are never going to do it. You might look at me and say, Chad, it's easy for you to work out because you like working out.
I hate that.
Look, that is not true.
Or the eating healthy thing.
Do you actually think that I wanted to wake up at 5 a.m.? I hate waking up early.
And you hate getting wet.
I hate getting wet. Do you think I wanted to wake up at 5 a.m. and go jump in a freaking swimming pool and I don't like kids either. I had to be around kids this morning.
They were great.
I didn't want to do any of this.
I would argue you did. I would argue we all did because we did it. Like, ultimately, you do what you want to do most.
No. That negative.
Okay.
There's a difference between wanting to do something, all right, and having enough
discipline,
self-control, whatever. Yeah, all those words to actually get up and do it because you know it needs to be done. It's necessary, right? I mean, if you could say, I mean, there's 100 things, 1,000 other things that you would want to do, but you don't do because you know they will destroy you. The things that you want to do are more than likely the things that are destroying you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think what Chili's getting at is like there's these things that you just don't want to do. There's things you want to do. But in the middle, there are things you don't want to do, but that you really like to do. Like it's the kind of hard that you like. And working out is that for you. If you know, if I wasn't in the business and you knew taxes needed to be done, that like they have to be done in America.
No,
that is
I wouldn't pay
something.
'em.
But that's what you wouldn't do anything of it because it's hard and you don't
Great
want to do it.
point.
There are people that feel that way about exercising
Great
too.
point.
No, because I think taxes are criminal.
Well, people think. I mean,
That's not because I don't want to do it. It's because I think
it
it's
could
criminal.
be computer work. It could be there are things
And it is
that
'cause you
are
don't wanna do it.
difficult that you don't like to do, and you are
100%.
not going to
Oh.
do it no matter who says.
I have a great example of that.
Let's hear it.
Cold plunging. Like recently, he's had some lower back issues and some problems, and cold plunging would do nothing but benefit him. When he's at a deficit in his body, he won't do it.
I had cold.
Well,
plunges.
I mean,
It's hard to. I mean, I can see it, but I can't get. I don't know. I can't get other people to see it. But there is hard that people like to do.
Yeah.
And they understand and see the benefits of it. And then there's hard that they don't like to do. And for you, it's because you don't understand or see the benefits of it. But that doesn't mean that they don't have to be done.
Well, the easiest way to explain it, which he'll dispute it again,
Scoffer.
is people do what they ultimately want to do most. That's how
Yeah.
the human condition works. Literally, when you're sitting there in the morning at 5 o'clock, if you get up to go work out, it is because you wanted to do that more than sit at home and be a fat, lazy piece of crap and deal with those repercussions. You wanted to run more than you wanted to do that. I mean, you may not have wanted to run. It may be hard. It's still hard. It's still like, I would rather sit here. But ultimately, you wanted to go feel what it would feel like to have ran and do everything else. People.
Yeah, you desired the outcome
You desired
of
the
running.
outcome more.
Yeah.
People are going to do what they want to do most. When people just decide to sit at home all day, it's because that's what they wanted to do. And so you have to change what you want. I don't know how you convince. Okay, that's another thing we're talking about is convincing people almost. I don't think you can convince people. I don't think you can change what people want. But that's what it comes down
Chad
to.
Chad shuts
I know
down.
he shut it down.
He's over there
Look.
flipping his
I don't
calf
care.
muscle like a.
If he disagrees, he don't want to debate. Or not even debate, just discuss it. He's just done. That's the way people operate. You run because you want to run.
What if it's what if it's because I see the necessity of it?
That's the same
that's
thing.
what he said.
That's
But
what
that's what he
that's what
said.
we're saying.
Like-
You knew it wasn't going to be enjoyable to
Right.
go do that, but you saw the necessity, and that's why you wanted to
There's
do it.
some
So
kind of
you
hang up
did
on
it.
the word want.
There's a perfect example of you said something earlier that like triggered, and I said I hate that. And I've always eaten really healthy since I got sober. And people do that to me like they do with you with exercise. You're so skinny. You can eat whatever you want. You're so like
You do
why
what
are
you want.
Well, no, I mean, no, I don't.
Well,
he brought home.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
Yeah, I
no,
don't.
no, but that's what but the other side of it, I don't know if want is the right word, but the way you eat is how you want to eat.
It's what I choose, Chili.
yeah,
it's what
yeah,
I choose.
right.
It's not necessarily if I could get away with eating the crap that he brings home and the stuff that I actually want
But you
to
can't,
buy.
so you don't want to eat it anymore.
Right.
Like that keeps you from
Right.
eating it.
I choose to do the right thing.
We have desires pulling us in both directions. You
Yeah.
desire, a donut,
Right.
but you also, if you don't eat it, it's ultimately because you know the consequences of eating it or not eating it, and you decided that you would rather have the positive feeling that you would have by not eating it.
Right. And that's
That's how we make decisions. I mean, that's how everything has an opportunity cost. Everything.
We need Tom Wright to weigh in on this.
who's that?
He'll probably call me after this.
Tom,
episode.
weigh in on this.
if you watch Tom, I've been talking to Tom, by the way.
Look,
Me and Tom are buddies, and he'll probably agree with me, and you'll be sad.
We'll see.
I agree, Chili. The reason I'll tell you right now how I think, and then you can tell me if it falls along your freak out thing you're doing. I eat like that because I know if I eat the apple fritter that he brought home from Cookout Blossom Hill.
So he just ate it.
No, I put it in the trash. But I wanted that apple fritter so freaking bad. Like, I'm such a fat girl at heart.
You do want it.
Chili, be quiet.
No,
Be quiet.
affirming.
So I wanted the apple fritter. I knew if I ate that apple fritter instead of healthy food, I was going to feel like crap and it was going to set me back. But if there were no repercussions.
Well, there are.
I know, but like, it's not what I want. If I listened to my mind, what I want, I would be huge. Like, my brain says, you want that apple fritter. I say, no. Back up. You don't. You want it, but you can't have it. Too bad.
I mean,
like,
this is a biblical topic. It is like eternal things versus flesh or earthly things, because taking care of your body is biblical. And I mean, even Paul says that the things I want to do, I don't do. The things I don't want to do, I do. And so he's talking about that struggle.
Paul said it better than us.
Between
that's it.
Flesh and what you really know is best, essentially. If you say you're, spiritual versus flesh, then I think it puts a different idea on it. But it's basically doing what you know is good versus what your flesh desires or what your body desires. So you're overcoming what your body's telling you. Like, your taste buds are saying, man, that thing would taste good. But it's like a parent and a kid. It's like a kid wants the candy all the time. They don't know that it's bad for them. They just want. And the parent has to say, no, that's enough candy, because if you eat too much, you're going to get fat or it's going to cause these problems. So it's like you have that parent-kid relation in your mind, and it's just a matter of whether or not you can overcome it.
Well, when you're presented with an apple fritter, you at the same time, you wanted that, but you also wanted to continue the healthy lifestyle that you're living, and not have a mess up or whatever you would call it. So what you ultimately wanted more won out. Like, that's how it works.
Okay,
that's how we make decisions.
I see what he's saying.
Weigh
Did you
in
see?
on this, listeners. Weigh in on this.
Now,
It's time to transition, ain't it?
well,
Yeah, they're not.
Can
coming
we
to any
transition to
conclusion.
the core of this? Like, I like what we're talking about, how to influence people we love, who we feel like we can help. But like, I like what Blake said about like inviting them to be a part of your healthy habits and like leaving that as an option. Boo, do you have any ideas on how to effectively influence?
Well, that all sounds good and nice.
Oh Lord.
But I just look at I look at the people, specifically in my life that I can relate this to, and I can say, well, I can say with confidence that every one of those individuals knows that they have an open invitation to be a part of any run or hike or a physical thing that I do or we do. I have invited these people to participate in certain things, and if they respond to it, that's great. I think there's nothing wrong with inviting them. I've yet to have one necessarily respond to it. I don't know. It's so frustrating to me that there are people, and this is just the reality of my life, there are people that I have just had to come to terms with their choices in my own mind. And I've had to say, this is the way this person has chosen to live, and I can see them destroying themselves, and I have to come to terms with that. And by coming to terms with that, I mean,
you can't live their life for them.
Yeah,
it's
being able to get to a place where I can just still love them for who they are, and see past their lifestyle.
Yeah, and in the end, just continuing to live it out and be who you are in front of them, I think is, I mean, in the end, that's all you can do.
I think you're exactly right. That's what I've been thinking lately. It's like, that's it.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with spiritual matters. When you see someone who is deficient in their spiritual side, we talk about it all the time. Does Bible thumping work? The Bible says this, and you need to be doing this, and it doesn't work. You can just keep living it out and talk about how it's changed your life and how now you're better at this and it's helped in these other areas, and pray for them, and eventually, Lord willing, maybe they'll come around. Maybe they won't. Who knows? But
you have to be able to love them regardless.
yeah, it's being patient.
And that's hard for you. I mean, that's what you're kind of saying.
Well,
which
yeah,
is
it's hard. Yeah.
I know it's just interesting for
hard.
me. Like, it's not as hard for me. I guess I've just understood, like, I can't live somebody else's life for them. Like, I don't, if I wish they would do something for their own health, well, I can't make them do it. I'm never going to be able to make them do it. So I can't let that ruin me. I mean, I still care about them and and you worry or whatever, but I mean, if there's literally nothing that I can do other than just provide an example, because that's what I keep hearing Blake say, and you can't convince them. So other than provide an example and try not to stress and worry about what they're doing to themselves, I mean, that's all you can do.
You're right. But it's so much easier said than done when their decisions are going to impact you long term.
Well, yeah.
And they're killing themselves. And you're going to be responsible for them. And
them and potentially their children.
Yeah, well there's
depending on the scenario.
Yeah. I mean, but I think y'all are exactly right. I don't think there is, like, I go back to when I was using, and I don't think there is anybody who could have convinced me that I needed to be better. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and I don't know what you guys believe, but I believe that food is just as bad of an addiction as drugs.
Well, it's difficult because you have to eat food.
Yeah. But carbs, sugar,
Yeah.
processed foods.
Well, it kills you a little slower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it will kill you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to open
Well,
that
everything
can
will
of
kill
worms.
you.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why fasting and stuff is so important too, because then it really puts into perspective not only how much and what you eat, but how much you think about food.
Yes.
You go do a 3-day fast where you don't eat anything for 3 days, you just drink water, and you're like, dang, I got a lot of time. Because you finish a meal and a couple hours later you're thinking, in your mind subconsciously, you don't even realize you're doing it, about what am I going to eat for lunch? Where am I going to stop? Do I got this at the house? Do I need to go by the grocery store? Mm-hmm. And you're thinking about all that stuff. Food takes a lot of energy to even just live it out, just to eat. And then if you eat healthy, it takes even more energy. Mm-hmm. That's just the fact of the matter.
Yep.
It's worth it, but it takes more time and money to eat healthy. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but I'm just putting emphasis on, if you go do a 3-day fast, if you get nothing else out of it, you'll at least get, dang, I think about food and eat a lot.
Well, and food's difficult because you have to eat. Like, we're not dependent on some of these other addictions that we have, whether it be, any kind of drug or even you're addicted to your phone, but we're dependent on breathing air, drinking water, and eating food. So food addiction, I think, is an easy one to,
it's easy to justify.
Yeah, because you have to eat. So it's just like, well, I'll just eat whatever I want, and that can lead down many problems. So for sure.
Well, that was a good podcast.
He's over it.
Biscuit, every time you come on, it's really a pleasure. I think you bring up some valuable topics and new perspective, fresh perspective to the show. I think you should come on once a week or at least once a month.
I've told you, if you'll give me...
Well, that's not going to happen.
Well, then I can't... I mean... can someone please call him out on that? Like on Instagram or something? That somebody realized that he's asking me and telling me I should come on the podcast. But then he turns around and says, There's no way he'll ever give me more than a 5-minute heads up when our house is 20 minutes from here.
Don't mess up his workflow.
The crap.
That's my flow.
This
man.
is what I live with. That's a perfect example of what my day-to-day life is like. Trying to make that happen.
Oh no, we're gonna talk about that lady on the next show.
Who?
Our new friend from the coffee shop. So, if you guys want to Roger up for this 307 Project PST, post the scores that you put out, and just tag 307 Project on Instagram.
What's a good hashtag we can put on there too?
Oh, that's
so
a
we can
good idea.
Track them, look at them all.
Hashtag 3 of 7 PST.
Is that
Number?
Yeah, thank you.
Number 3 of the number 7 PST.
Nice. Good idea, Blake.
3 of 7 PST.
Hashtag.
Well, hashtag 3 of 7 PST. Not, okay, 3 of 7 PST. That'll be the hashtag.
Say it again.
Hashtag 3. Biscuit.
I just want to remind him one more time. Hold on.
Sing it.
We are the champions. Okay, sorry.
Of what?
Turd.
We beat him.
How?
Look,
Shut your mouth.
No.
We beat him.
No, we did the same.
I wanna see y'all scores. All right, post them, tag us. We'll reshare them. We're gonna take a look at them. But I want to know where we are in terms of physical strength within the body of 3 of 7 Project. So that's why I want to see you guys.
Don't forget the grand
Where you
prize
at?
that you promised you'd come up with.
That's going to be next. Yeah, that's going to be next year. Starting in January, we're going to kick this thing off, and the person who puts up the highest score by a certain date is going to. Oh, I got some ideas. Anyways, I think in the next podcast, I think I want to talk about the church.
Uh-oh.
I want to get to the bottom of this thing. Y'all have seen me come out with many accusations against the traditions that we practice within the church building. I want to get to the bottom of this thing. Chili, get your mind turning on that, son.
No, I mean, listen.
Get your mind turning on that.
People
need some. People want to hear the other side of this. I can't just come out and say how silly all this stuff is without going in and talking about how do we think it could work better?
Are you going to offer that?
Yeah, that's what I want to get into.
You need to clarify your stance.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't go to church, never has, so he doesn't have a stance.
No. You can't go to church. That's for another episode. That's for the next episode.
Never been a member of a church is what I meant to say.
Oh no, I'm a member of the church.
A church.
No, there's only the church.
Say a church building.
So
Okay. A church building.
I think that's what we'll talk about here in just a little bit. That episode will come out on Sunday, and then we're also going to talk about that Sunday episode. We're going to talk about our friend from the coffee shop, and I got a special story to tell you guys. But y'all are going to be hearing this today. You won't get to hear all that other stuff till Sunday. Thanks for coming on the show, Biscuit. Very, very wonderful to have you. Chili, get stronger, dude.
What?
Enough said.